Everybody knows what the first biggest art selling time of the year is, okay? It's the last 3 months of the calendar year. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, run up to Christmas. Fantastic time for you guys to be out there selling your art of photography because more of it is purchased than any other time all year. But no one really ever talks about the second biggest. Like, when is the second biggest all year long? And what do you need to do to prepare and be in a great position to do that? And believe it or not, the second is actually the 3 months that we're coming up on right now. It's the summer, and there's a number of different reasons for this, and I don't feel like anyone ever talks about this. I don't feel like it's taught, nor the reasons why. And it's really, really important. And if we look at our data, if the spring season, kind of what we just finished, is the normal baseline for how much art and photography sells in a year, you see about a 1.5x bump of the spring season, kind of right around the new year. Christmas hangover / New Year's resolutions, that type of thing. Summer season sees about a 3x boost of the baseline of spring season, and the holiday season sees about a 5x boost. And so Q4, the holiday, is the last three months of the year, most important, but the second most important is literally right now. And there's a number of different reasons for this that often gets glossed over, and people are they don't talk about it enough. And one of the first big reasons is, so much of what sells in terms of art and photography is driven by what other commercial activity is going on out there, okay? And no one ever really talks about this, and which is why I love doubling down on it. It's like when the biggest merchants and vendors out there are spending a ton of money, okay, advertising sales, by which I mean, I start this whole summer selling season with Mother's Day, and you've got Mother's Day in there, you've got Memorial Day in there, you've got Father's Day in there, you've got just general summer sales in there, you've got 4th of July, you have Amazon Prime Day, which actually is a great time to be selling art, and then you have your end of summer wrap-up sales, right? And there's a nice little timeline where they start in May and it goes all the way to August. And you can see it here. And I have a blog post on this. I'm going to put it in the chat now if anyone wants to look at it. Don't read too far ahead. But these are all massive art selling holidays, okay? And no one ever talks about it because artists and photographers, number one, hate running sales. You think it cheapens your work. You don't like doing it. You don't like sending the emails. You don't like selling. There's a whole bunch of reasons for this, okay? But the gallery system knows this, and really any DTC, direct-to-consumer merchant, which you guys are too, because you're trying to sell your crafts, your works to consumers, there is a huge benefit for when you water ski behind all of these extra advertising dollars that these merchants spend. When everyone is spending money to run a Mother's Day sale or a Father's Day sale or a 4th of July sale or an Amazon Prime Day sale, everyone thinks oh, that's not a holiday for me. That has nothing to do with my art. And all of that is utterly, totally, and completely irrelevant. Once you've been in this business for a while, what you learn is that what these holidays, these other big holidays at the big box merchants, the biggest stores, and all your local stores, when they're spending a ton of money on advertising, naturally, us humans are exposed to those messages. The billboards, the guy throwing the sign in front of the shop, anything that goes in a paper, if you're still reading a paper, radio advertisements, TV advertisements, Facebook ads, Instagram. We're bombarded with these things and we can't miss them, right? And so it affects us as consumers, and it gets us, dopamine hits and gets us a little bit closer to pulling that credit card out of the wallet. And so when you, the artist or photographer, are actively marketing your work in these periods of time, it can be an extremely beneficial time to have a sale in the water, to have a promotion in the water, to let people know you exist, to get your art out there, to let people know it's for sale, which almost all artists and photographers are terrible at. So this is a very, very important thing to know and to not gloss over, and we have some incredible data on that. And so the summer season would be amazing if it was just for that reason, the fact that you have all of these holidays switched in there. But what people really don't talk about are the other three big things. And I'm going to touch on each just here quickly in a list item, and then I'm going to dive into them. But number one, moving is at an all-time high, peaks during the summer months. Number two, most artists, i.e. your competition or photographers, are either doing shows or don't market consistently during the summer at all. It's nice out. It's the holiday season, and there's vacations. It's time to take it off. I'll get back to it at the end of the year, right? And then finally, access to attention is at an all-time high during the summer months, and I want to explain that one. But it doesn't matter what data you look at. common sense data from U-Haul, any moving companies. The busiest months for relocation and moving are between the months of May and September. The weather's nicer. School schedules are resetting for families, get into the new school, get started. Leases are more often to come up and end either right before summer or at the start of summer. And more often than not, when you get a new job, they usually like to start those in the summer or just right before fall. And so all of that leads up to a scenario in which there are more people moving, which means new houses, upsizing, downsizing, which means wall space that is available, which your creations need to go onto. Okay. And so when you have these situations for moving, you have at an all-time high, you have more people that are redecorating, going through this entire process, needing to fill a space. And that means they're in the market for art. Okay. And it happens once a year. It happens significantly more now than at any other time. And I know things are like a little dicey with the housing market, but it doesn't matter. If you have to move, you have to move. And that happens tremendously in the summer. The second big one is, most artists are either doing shows and fairs or just taking this time off completely. Either way, okay? Again, I've been doing this for a long time. One thing is abundantly clear to me. When artists or photographers are doing the show and fair circuit, or when it's like summer, I'm going to be at the beach, my kids are off, maybe I teach and I'm off for the summer, or I want to take vacations, the number one thing that suffers in that period of time is your marketing, right? Artists will still create, but they will not market, and they will not send emails, and they will not run sales, and they will not run promotions, i.e., you have a situation in which, 1, there's all the holidays. 2, everybody is moving. 3, your competition is taking it off. And so that is a further force multiplier on how important a season this is to potentially be selling. In the final, which is one of my favorites, is attention is at an all-time high, right? And I like using this little pool icon. And I learned this, I've been doing digital marketing again for a long time, but I learned this. How many times have I said that? It's like redundant. I've been doing this for a long time. I got to knock that off. But I learned this primarily during COVID, okay? And COVID hit, and that was like pretty much the most unprecedented thing any of us have lived through, right? And we were all on lockdown, and almost, very few people were going to their jobs in comparison to the ones that were going before. And as a result of that, everyone was on the internet. And so I would be doing like live streaming sessions back then where, maybe I would get 100 people tops that were watching those sessions. During COVID, I was having thousands. And it was like, oh my gosh, I now have access to more attention, more eyeballs than I ever have before, just by turning the camera on and going live on the social platforms. And what happens during summer, okay, is people check out. People are sitting by the pool. They're out doing their fun thing, and cell phone usage spikes, okay? If cell phone usage spikes, that means your social media posts on Instagram and Facebook, and subsequently your emails, stand a much higher chance of reaching the eyeballs you're attempting to reach. Email open rates go up. The engagement goes up on Facebook and Instagram, and you just have access to more attention. Like in today's digital marketing era, if you're not on this thing, I can't get your attention. When everyone is sitting at that pool, scrolling up and down on this thing, you have a better chance of your art, your photography hitting the target, getting in front of those eyeballs. You combine all of this, okay, and it creates absolutely the perfect storm, and it is why it's the second biggest art selling time of the year. It's why year after year after year, regardless of economic situation, conditions on the ground, I can talk about that if you guys want to, these are the results that we're seeing. And everybody glasses over it because they don't know, because no one's ever told them, it's this important. So if you take away one thing from this session, whether you ever consider signing up with Art Storefronts or not, you can't take the summer off. You can't take the summer off. It is one of the most important times to be actively marketing, to be capturing emails, to be emailing those emails, to be warming them up, and especially ahead of the 5X season that's to come. So very, very important data on what that all looks like and what that should look like. And, one of the really, really interesting things too is you probably heard about it. We probably emailed you about it, but we've for a long time had the best art selling websites on the planet. Okay, great. Doesn't matter. That doesn't do anything on its own. We've long been very, very good at educating our customers how to market all year long. Okay. We've long been very, very good at having in-person sessions and teaching and Zoom calls like this and playbooks, how to run Facebook ads, how to do a live art show, all those things. Okay, great. We've had that. Up until now, we haven't taken the final step. And the final step is just to start doing the marketing for our customers. And we launched a new program called Copilot, and this was we're probably about 2.5 months in now. And since launching that, we essentially integrate our customers' emails, integrate our customers' Facebook profiles, and integrate our customers' Instagram accounts, and we run a large portion of the marketing and promotion for them. So we post to Facebook, to Instagram on their behalf. And the results of doing this have been absolutely staggering. For the first time ever, our customers are actually marketing consistently. And we've just had the biggest Mother's Day that we've ever had. And I'll send you this post. You can read through some of these comments. Like, never in the history of me working for this company have we ever received this many positive Facebook testimonials on any one thing ever. And it has everything to do from customers that are just getting started to customers that have been at it for a while. And, you know, everyone up and down the board is selling because for the first time, the marketing is actually getting done. So that's a sort of a very, very exciting thing that we've added to our lineup just recently, and very, very excited to see where that's going to potentially go and what it's going to mature to. So we can talk about Copilot. You can see part of that on the demo if you get a demo or if you come back for one of those. But I figure it's a Monday. You guys probably have questions. We might as well open it up for those questions. How does the questions work? If you're one of the brave ones, okay? Sarah, Bernard, Paul, Susan, Ron's out there back in the backyard multitasking me, Eric. If you guys have questions, all you have to do is raise your hand and I'll see it and I'll be like, hey, they've got a question, and I can unmute you and bring you on. For everyone else, at the bottom of this Zoom window, you'll notice there's this little smiley face and it says reactions. If you click that, that gives you a way to raise your hand digitally speaking. That lets me know you have a question. I can come on and unmute you. If you don't have your camera on, you don't have to have your camera on, okay? I hate being on video. I totally understand that. And also, at the bottom of the Zoom window, there's like a little chat bubble, and you can click that chat bubble and throw a question in there, and I'd be happy to answer those as well. If you're one of the ones that's watching on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, I can see your comments as well, so you can throw those in. And normally, especially on a Monday, just takes one brave soul. One brave soul. Start the question thing. Yep. See, Eric, that's what I'm talking about. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you, good sir, for kicking us off. All right. Go ahead. And you'll need to unmute, Eric. I'll let you know when you get it. You got to hit the mic icon. It's like bottom right-hand corner. All you do is just click it. Yep. Gotcha.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Yeah. So there's lots of services that build websites, and there's lots of services that print art and ship art.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I'm most interested in, and I really like.
Crap, Eric, you're in a low bandwidth situation.
I have this idea of marketing. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm most interested in helping. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So what I did is I killed your camera. Normally, when you're in like a low bandwidth situation, that does it. So I just start at the beginning so we can get it.
Hear me now?
Yeah, lots of services that build websites.
Yeah.
Lots that print. Go from there.
So what I'm most interested in is help gaining attention.
Yes.
In what ways do you help us gain followers and attention?
Yeah,
that's what I need help with the most, and that's what I don't want to do.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm not good at.
Yep.
And I feel like I've got good artwork, but what are you going to do to help me gain attention?
Great question. And
can you give me specifics and examples?
Yeah, absolutely. You just referenced every single solitary person in this Zoom call, right? If I asked everyone on this Zoom call that just wants to create the art, the photography, and have somebody else take care of everything else and have a profitable business, how many people would raise their hand? Everybody, right? So the easiest way to think about what we do up till now, and then I'll tell you in a post-Copilot world, which is our new offering, we are part technology solution, everything that you just said. Yeah, the website, yeah, the print on demand, all the back end bells and whistles. Okay, great. And then the other part is we're essentially a postgraduate university that just teaches art and photography, marketing, and business techniques all year long. So we teach you how to post to the socials. We teach you how to run live art shows. We teach you how to capture leads. We teach you how to do giveaways. And that's been a giveaways for email addresses that then turn into sales. So that's been a part of our program sort of since the inception. Now with Copilot, we're doing a large number of that marketing for our customers. So for instance, over the course of Mother's Day, I think we ran somewhere over 1,000 sales where we sent all of the emails, we did all of the social posts. All our customers had to do was either let what we did go or go in and make some edits as they see fit to the various different languages. And so if you're on that service, a tremendous amount of the marketing is being done for you automatically by us, by my team. Actually, I write a ton of the content for it as well. And so that can be very, very helpful, but it's not as helpful as it could be if you're starting from zero. I.e., if you're starting, you have 0 people on an email list, you have 1 person on your Instagram page, and you have 1 person on your Facebook page, right? Now, it still helps with that, but that's why it's called Copilot and not Autopilot, right? So we will teach you how to do all the various other different things that help generate leads and start driving traffic to your site. And when Copilot takes a bunch of the stuff off of your plate that you don't need to be doing, okay, it frees up the time to do all the stuff only you can do. Videos about your process, talking about your inspiration, potentially having the time to do some in-person shows and fairs, which are highly effective, to do various different lead generation techniques to try and get your art into places where we can use QR codes so people scan it and get into your email list. And so it's not any one individual thing. It's all of those things. But your problem, Eric, and same as everyone else on this call, is no one ever does the marketing consistently enough. There's not some magic silver bullet or one little technique or tactic that does it. Once you start grinding on all of these channels, you start building emails, 1 email at a time. You start emailing those emails. You run promotions when the time is correct. You do print giveaways. I'm giving away this print for free just to enter, put in your email address. There's one winner. Then after the winner is announced, everyone else gets a discount on the art. Rinse and repeat. And you build all of these things slowly, steadily, step by step. The problem is that, again, no one ever does it consistently for a number of different reasons. But artists and photographers treat their marketing like a gym membership, right? It's January, you signed up, you're going 4 days a week. March rolls around, you haven't been once all month. And that's how it goes. And until we fix that cycle, we'll never get there. Did that mostly answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. It's the most important thing. Like, I've gotten a bunch of different analogies for the website side of things, right? Like for the last 10 years, 15 years, since websites have been a website, artists have run around from one website to one marketplace, to another marketplace, to the other website, to custom building their website, and nothing in their business ever changes. And the reason in their business is what you've already alluded to. Nothing changes because none of you guys have a website problem, okay? Is amazing is print on demand is, i.e. the order comes in, you get paid, printer gets paid, printer prints it, printer ships it. That's amazing too. None of you guys have a POD problem. You have not enough eyeballs on your art, right? And so until the marketing problem gets solved, the businesses don't go anywhere. And so we're focused on that on just about every single solitary angle that we can be. But independent of, special tricks or special lists or all the rest of this non-Facebook ads formula bullshit that everyone's out there trying to hawk, it is showing up week in, week out, Eric, and doing the work. Can Copilot, if you're on that, do a tremendous amount of that work for you? Yes, it can. But your business will go faster and get there quicker if you learn this stuff and start doing this stuff on your own. And let me tell you, I don't know what the damn alternative is. And like I said, I've been on these calls for a long time. I talk to hundreds of artists a week in, week out. I've been doing that since COVID. And I don't know anybody that's making any money that doesn't do it. You want to make it as an artist and photographer in today's day and age, you can be the 0.1% of 1% that makes over 6 figures a year in a gallery. It is that small. Those odds are that terrible. You can be a road warrior on the show and fair circuit, right? Doing 20 or 30 or 40 shows a year. Okay. Or you can be a direct, sell direct from your own website and have a hand in your own personal marketing. Other than that, I don't see anyone making it successful aside from just like the true unicorns that are out there. But I don't know if you agree with that sentiment or not, but that's certainly what I've seen.
Yeah. My last comment on this, please. I like it. Sounds great. Mm-hmm. The one thing you didn't talk about is the cost.
Yep.
One comment I like to make about costs in general is I sure wish they could always come out of the back end. As a starving artist, 100%. I would much rather pay you a premium if it came out of the back end, so I didn't have to pay for these things up front.
Yeah.
I would be willing to pay you more money if you took it out of the back end. And if you believe in your product and your process, then you should be willing to foot the bill up front, and I'll pay you more money on the back end.
No, I
I
love it.
wish you could do it that way.
I love it. But there's a reason that that service doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
There's a concrete reason. It's because the one variable that no business can control is the one that you're the most responsible for, which is like creating the thing, right? And over the years, one of the really, really interesting things that I've learned is like no one can pick horses. No one can pick horses, meaning you can't just look at a body of work and go, oh my gosh, this person's amazing. It's going to be
Yeah.
incredible. Let me go like, I took almost a minor in photography in college. Okay. I enjoy photography myself, but I've studied all the classics. I understand the rule of thirds. I know how to frame a proper image. Okay. There are photographers on here that take snapshots that have robust businesses. There are others that have over 1 million followers on Instagram that are not doing as good as the snapshot guy. And how the hell do I explain that? Right? It is so difficult to explain. And so too, I mean, I've got this one guy. I honestly cannot tell the difference. His detail with a brush is so good. I can barely tell the difference of whether or not it's a photograph or a painting. And he's struggling. And it comes down to the subject matter material. And it comes down to who the artist is as a brand. And it comes down to a bunch of these other external factors. And ultimately, if you're not going to do any of that stuff, there's not anyone in the world that would take you on and do that. Like, even if we said, like, hey, back end compensation, whatever we charge is going to be 5x that. And let's go see how it goes, right? Well, we can't control what energy or what effort you would put in to do that part of the deal, right? And that's the reason why none of that deal just doesn't exist out there. It would be awesome if it did. Now, one of the things that we have talked about and that we have started playing around with and kicking around internally is trying to defer some of the costs because we believe so much in this Copilot product. Like, essentially, the analogy that I love to give, and all of you guys, and many of you guys are stuck in this trap, is because marketing is the biggest problem. Artists and photographers create. They're like, my work is incredible. I know that this work could sell if I could just get it in front of enough eyeballs. And then they never get it in front of enough eyeballs to know whether or not it'll actually sell. And then they're like, well, that work didn't sell. Let me just go get on to the next stuff, right? And it's just this vicious little cycle. Create, don't get it in front of enough eyeballs to know if it'll actually sell. Decide that work's no good. Create the next cycle of work. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, right? And so what we're able to do with Copilot, because we've started marketing consistently, and in some cases we're doing like 7 to 10 posts a day. We're running a couple of 2-3 promotions a month. We're running flash sales. Is we're starting to find out much quicker. We're eliminating our customers saying they're doing the marketing, but not really doing the marketing, phoning it in, not running the proper campaigns, not learning it, tech challenge. It's a whole bunch of different rules. And now we have 1,000+ customers all going on this journey at the same time. And if they're all doing it at the same time, and some are getting results and some others, it doesn't mean the others that are not getting results are crappy artists or crappy photographers. It means the subject matter material that they've laser focused on is not something the market wants. Guess what? That's completely normal, and that's totally part of the process. Pablo Picasso had 45,000 unsold works when he died. He didn't hit a home run every single solitary time. There were times where that guy created things and nobody wanted it. He didn't let it ruin him or derail him or stop him from creating and doing his job. And so now with Copilot, we have a number of different customers, and we're like, here are the results. You ask them. They're posting it on Facebook. You could see what they're saying about it. Like, it's not like we're making this up. If they're getting the results and you're not getting the results, it allows for a little self-reflection. And the self-reflection takes you to a place like, okay, I'm talented with a brush. I'm talented with the lens. I know I can create amazing things. What are the things that I can be doing to help me figure out a subject matter material that is something that will sell, that is something that's resonating, that does have a much higher addressable market size than what I'm currently working on? And so we see a bunch of that going on, and it's awesome. It's an amazing, amazing thing because look, your guy's chosen vocation does not mean you just create the thing and boom, success. There is a reason. The word starving is front of artists. And it's not just you guys. Musicians, authors, okay, and artists and photographers. It's hard. It's not supposed to be easy. You don't just write a crack hit on your first, go out the gate. It takes a grind. So anyway, I was going long-winded. What's up, Emily? What did I see, Emily, on your Instagram? Oh, you broke my heart. You got a call to be in like some museum or something, and you didn't check your freaking email.
No. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No. I got accepted to get this painting in the office of the mayor of Pittsburgh.
Oh.
And the email went to spam.
Oh.
And I got, and it was like, oh, and we'll have a artist, you get to meet the mayor day and stuff like that. And I got the email. I saw it in my spam like the week after I was supposed to meet the mayor. So, it was awful. It was just awful.
Oh, my heart breaks. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. No, but I've been in touch with them, and there's, I certainly have other opportunities, and they understand, and actually, apparently it went to other people's spam too. Good. But so they knew it was happening. But the thing was, though, that they have a theme each month for the artwork that they want to have in, and I'm looking at the themes for the rest of the year, and I'm like, no, but this was the perfect month. So that's what happened. So eventually, I hope we could get in there, and I am also multitasking. So
hey, I am not taking it personally in the slightest. I appreciate you guys for it, especially as long-winded as I am. But what's up? What are you struggling with? What's your question?
I'm wondering about, I feel like I put a lot of effort into, being, you've seen me on social media apparently and everything. But I feel like I'm pretty consistent with it. I put most of my effort into marketing my artwork and my events. That being said, I do have an awesome webpage with print on demand, and I got a bunch of amazing products, but I don't put my effort. And you say, you should have a range from, $10 to $100, and I have that at my events, and I'm doing well at my events, stuff like that. But how much on a day-to-day basis, if I'm not in an event, how much time should I be spending marketing my print on demand stuff when really what I want to be doing is selling my paintings to people, or do I just keep the print, or I resell the print on demand stuff. Like I have an inventory of it that I'm selling at my shows, but when I'm not at shows, how much energy should I be putting into that versus like focusing on my art and my processes and my brand, all that?
Yeah, it's such a great question. And, again, to take it back to Copilot, like one of the things that we're learning with Copilot is oftentimes artists, photographers fall into these traps about what they think is their best stuff, right? What they think should be their number one revenue drivers. And they get that in their head. And once they have that in their head as an agenda, they ignore these other silos of the business, right? And they don't promote them. They don't do anything. Like one of the things that we keep learning is what Copilot does. Okay, and this is how switched on I can do this. Okay, I can literally go. When I said like, never in the history of this business have we gotten as many testimonials in such a short period of time. So one of the things that Copilot does is we have access to your entire catalog. Okay. And I promise I'm not going sales pitch mode here. This is an epic answer to your question. So it goes into the customer's websites and it just starts pulling images somewhat at random. We've like written a little bit of an algorithm, and the effect of that is that we're advertising and posting all of their work, right? We're not just playing the greatest hits that what the artist thinks are the greatest hits. We're cycling through absolutely everything. And what ends up happening as a result of it is when you guys get the hell out of your own way, okay, and you let things be shown, you get into this situation where there's serendipity, right? And so this gal's Kimberly, I got to get the zoom out of the way. Hold on. She posted this 8 hours ago now, right? And she sold this original for a Father's Day sale. And you can see she calls me out. You were right when you mentioned in office hours not to change the images Copilot was choosing, right? Now I'm thinking about doing a reel of an alert. So anyway, the point is Copilot is now grabbing our customers' image base and cycling through it at random, okay? And as a result of that, these folks are making sales in situations where they would have never promoted it, right? They never would have shown that one off. They never would have thought about it. So how does that get back to your prints? It also works that way for the revenue channels. Sometimes people have like a humming commissions revenue channel to the detriment of their other ones. And they're like, I don't want to do commissions. And the revenue just keeps coming in and coming in and coming in on that. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You have to go all in on this. You have an incredible revenue source. Like build this, right? So don't over rely on the print on demand stuff. having to be your most important revenue source. It's okay. Sometimes it isn't for everybody. Like it's
now
all
what
good.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that like I'm not putting a lot of focus on it because I'm putting more of my focus on my artwork, and it's there, and you know I'll mention it every now when I'm having a sale. I'm like, oh, did you know I have this? Did you know I have stuff like that? But I don't. That's not where I put my focus. So I'm just wondering, like, how is that the right approach?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
You know what I would do is like I would set a reminder to like talk about it every 2 weeks. You know, or some frequency, and put it on your calendar and have it popped up, and it's like, okay, talk about the fact that I had prints, and then go on and post about the prints. Like don't ignore it, right? Like
I don't just have prints though. Like I've got shower curtains,
for sure,
and like it's stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And you should be doing giveaways with the merch stuff, right? Like it is a fantastic way to generate email addresses, and it's a fantastic way also to give somebody a lower ticket item, okay, so they don't have to make such a big commitment to your originals, which costs several hundred to several thousand, right? And so it lets them get in the door. And like, how many times have you heard me say the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have? So true. God, it is just.
And I tell myself that. I hear you say that to me like every week.
Yeah.
But so like, what kind of giveaway?
Emily, you don't want to hear this, but I'm not worried about you. You just have to keep going. The only thing that you need is like, you're no different than every other artist and photographer on this call. You're on the solopreneur emotional roller coaster, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The highs are high, and then that thing dips down low, and then up and down, and you just need to be bucked up when it's on a low and keep going, right? Because you're still relatively early on into this whole thing. Like, how long would you say you've actively been consistently marketing? 2 years? Year and a half? 2 years.
2 years.
3 to 5 is when you really start humming, you know?
Okay.
And no one likes hearing that. Like, you know, when I say that, like there's a very small subsecond of people that are like, okay, I appreciate you. You have integrity because you actually tell it like it is. You're not sugarcoating it. And then some people were like, you are a bastard. Like, what are you talking about? 3 to 5 years. But let me tell you, I don't know of any businesses that are just hits in year 1, year 2. You are fooling yourself if you think that's the case. What no one talks about is how damn hard it is in those first years, right? Like it seems like we go, banging our heads against the wall, and then one little win, and the emotional gas tank gets filled up, and then it starts running out again, right? Like that is normal for those first couple of years. The reason I'm not worried about you, because I know you're showing up on these things. I know you're marketing consistently. I have every faith in you. I really do. As long as you stay at it, you gotta stay at it. Yeah.
And see, that's why I keep on joining these calls, not because you just complimented me, but because you don't beat around the bush, and you know you're going to tell you tell it like this, and I like that.
But now
and I need that.
But now that you know I haven't seen you in months, and I pulled your mirror story out, it's because I'm paying attention. I'm watching. Like I'm curious. I'm constantly learning about this thing, right? I'm a social media marketing expert. I have to spend time on the damn thing, so of course I'm watching.
Cool.
But yeah, just keep going. Stay motivated, and you're gonna do great. I'm not worried about it. And set the calendar reminder. Don't ignore that stuff.
I like it.
Okay. And I want to hear about it when you get back into the mayor's office. I want a photo. Okay.
Okay.
Photo proof it didn't happen. All right.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if anyone else, I haven't looked at the grid view, has their hand up. Otherwise, Peter, I can unmute you. I know you have a question, so I'm going to try and find you here. Hold on, Peter. All right. Go ahead, Peter. You can unmute. I'll let you know when you get it. Mic icon, bottom left-hand corner. Yep. Oh, I had you, and then I accidentally muted you again. Yep. Got you.
All right.
Yep. Got you.
That's weird. That's the first time that's happened.
I can hear you, Pete. You're live. Go ahead.
I said that's the first time that's happened.
What's that?
The muting.
Yeah, it's because I have everyone muted by default. Otherwise, everyone would be talking at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
But how can I help? Do you have a question?
Not really. I just joined in, so I'll let you know.
Okay, got it. So I'm going to mute you again because we could hear the music and everything else. But who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Could be anything about anything. Eric, I see your question in the chat. I'll address that in a second, if you like. Yeah, and so, you know, what Eric's saying here in the chat, we might as well just read through it in real time because I've got all kinds of fancy buttons. So I haven't even tried selling anything yet, but I have 7,000 followers and 200 plus on a mailing list instead of interested buyers, but my work is digital, okay? and I don't have any physical prints made. This is like one of the most common mistakes that you creatives make is, you know, especially more so for photographers and digital artists than it is for you guys that are painting, because you guys that are painting, you end up with the actual thing. You digital artists, you photographers think the rest of the world is blessed with your creative talent and that we can somehow visualize this thing on your Instagram account as potentially something that's going to hang on the wall. We can't, okay? We need to see the tangible, actual thing. We need to see that it has 3 dimensions. We need to see that it can hang on a wall, okay? We need to be able to covet it and lust after it as something that is real and 3-dimensional. And if you just are showing 2D image over 2D image after 2D image, well, your goose is cooked, okay? I see that, Hollis, because everybody just posts 2D images all day long, okay? It will never stand a chance of selling if you don't have the actual thing and you can't talk about the actual thing and you can't articulate the actual thing. And Eric, the beautiful thing is, all you need to do is get 5 of them made, and they can be small like this, and it can be $200. You don't need to have this giant, huge thing. You have a little small one like this, okay? And when you want to show it off up close, use the magical power of Zoom. Watch this. All I'm doing is going to hold it close to the camera, right? It's that simple, okay? You can get an entire stack of samples for like $200, and then you have the things to show off. Then you could show the thing off on the screen and say, I can make this thing huge, but have the samples, right? Like, it's such a big disconnect. And I'm not picking on you, I promise, Eric, because I want to help you and I want you to win. Asked another way, if I just hired you to go door to door for me, selling knives, when you knocked on those doors, what would you have in your hand? Probably have the knives, wouldn't you? Because let me tell you, if all you had was a catalog of what the knives look like, you would have to be one hell of a salesperson. Okay, you would have to be so good. You need to have your product. You need to have your physical product. Okay, it is so important. And you know, don't make it more difficult. Like $200, you can get an entire stack. You know, I make my customers, the minute they sign up, order the entire stack of samples. They need to have wood. They need to have metal, they need to have acrylic, they need to have canvas, and they need to have either a textured fine art paper or a gloss paper, depending on how they do it. Because nobody knows what the damn media types are like, okay? No one has any idea. We, the consumer, are reliant upon you, the artist, to explain it to us. You're supposed to be the subject matter experts, right? And so if you don't actually have the material in your hand and you can't articulate it, you are making your job significantly more difficult. So I get really fired up about this, and I make my customers order the entire stack. I mean, I could pull it out. I have the whole thing here. The acrylic was one of them. You know what? Might as well. Pulling it out. I have small children, so I seem to be missing one. Look at this, okay? 5 main media types. That is the size of the stack, you guys. That is the size of the stack. It's not that big. It's tiny, in fact. I can hold this. I could take this in my car wherever I want to go, right? This is a metal print. I mean, this is a wood print, okay? It actually has a beautiful wood texture on it. It's ready to hang. It has little bumpers here so it sits nicely on the wall. This is a fine art paper, textured fine art paper, I believe, watercolor paper in this, and you can zoom in on it. You could show here it is framed. You could show that it's ready to hang, right? Canvas, edge to edge, can be framed, doesn't need to be framed, can float on the wall. Metal, new kid on the block, beautiful. You can sign it right on the back or you can sign on the front. Incredible detail, and I've got like this green screen format, so it's a little circusy, but looks beautiful. Great in the bathroom because you can run the shower and it could sweat on this and it'll never damage the print, right? And then the aforementioned acrylic, which is the newest kid on the block. It's thicker. It has an extra special glare on it. So if you can't articulate these things, how the hell do you expect anyone to buy the product, right? It's like one of these fundamental things that they don't teach, which infuriates me. And I get all fired up about it. But anyway, that's me. Someone else had a question. It was Hollis. Let me grab Hollis. And Hollis, I'm going to unmute you. But before you go, let me just one more thing for you, Eric. Like, if you've got 7,000 followers, okay, all you need to do is grab this thing, okay, have that aforementioned stack that cost you $200 and do a couple of live art shows. I have the ultimate guide on live art shows. I am going to put it into the chat, okay, and send it to you. And I just realized my damn note-taking thing didn't start after that whole little rant about how super sweet I am with my AI tool, and the damn thing didn't start. I'm going to try and figure that out. In the meantime, Hollis, go up. Next question.
Okay, well, I just wanted to, I don't market my art, and I like just started painting, but about like 8 years ago, but I work,
cool.
so just like off and on.
Yeah.
But people have like really wanted to buy my artwork, and
Okay, I want to
I've like said,
I want to stop you right there. The next time you get this, I take cash, credit card, Venmo, check. It's such and such dollar amount, and then shut up. I want you to train yourself to do this. Hollis, this works incredible. You should sell it. I sell this actually.
I don't want to sell it. That's the problem. I sold one piece for $4,000.
Okay, well, you're cooking with gas. You're
and
with gas already.
Like if somebody commissions something, I'll do it, but otherwise I don't want to part with my originals. So the question is, I mean, do people buy cliches?
Yeah,
I mean,
G-clays. G-clay, by the way, is a bullshit word that was made up. Oh, it's French for spattering ink. Do you know what G-clay means? Inkjet print. And yes, they are huge business. All kinds of people buy them all the time.
Well, should you do an embellishing clay or just AG clay, or should you say it's available in any size you want, or
yeah. So we kind of teach you,
or you do a limited edition. That's the end of my question.
The answer is all the above. So it's gonna take a little bit bigger of a rant for me to get you the right answer to this question. What I'm gonna do, and I'll do it as quickly as possible. I believe all artists, all photographers need to have a range of pricing. Okay. Fundamentally important. They need to have items from $0 to $100. They need to have items from $100 to $1,000, and then they need to have items from $1,000 plus. Okay. Now there's a whole bunch of reasons why that's important. You also need non-wall art as a part of the lineup, because not everyone is ready all the time to buy wall art, and you want to acquire as many customers as you can. So how would a typical artist do it? And the range of pricing fundamentally is more important than how you decide to do it. But given what you just said, here's what I love. Let's say your originals. I'm not going to start with your originals. So $0 to $100, you have some merch items. We'll talk about the merch in a second. You can have small paper prints in there. Then over $100, you have varying different sizes of G-clays that I just showed you on all those mediums: acrylic, metal, canvas, wood. Okay. Then you start doing your limited editions at like $800 to $2,000. Okay. Those are limited edition. We can call them on a specific material: metal, acrylic. Then from the $2,000 to the $4,000 is your embellished prints. Okay. I love embellished prints. And so you get your work scanned. Okay. I can explain how that works. Then you order the print. Then you spend 30 minutes embellishing it. And then you charge $2,000 to $4,000. And then your originals go from $4,000 up to 50 or whatever your upper reach is. When you have that entire range, you're setting yourself up to take advantage of the full socioeconomic bell curve, right? You get low socioeconomic status, you get lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals. The artist or photographer that has that entire range captures the most customers. Okay, the more customers you get, the more likely they are to come back, the more likely you are to turn them into a collector. That is the ball game. That is the ball game. So when you have that range of pricing, then you've got something for everybody. You're acquiring customers everywhere. And the crazy thing about that bell curve, trying to get it all in frame here, it's not a fixed entity, right? People are moving up and down that thing at various different stages of their life for various different reasons. And so your job is just to sell as much as you can, acquire as many customers, and a great way to do that is by price points.
Mm-hmm. So, like obviously you have sales reps who kind of talk to you more in depth about it, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then I think I just had one last question, and
Please.
that was, I'm old, sorry.
No, you're kidding me. You take all the time you need, my dear. Do not worry.
Oh, yeah. Like the problem is that there's nowhere in my condo anymore. So I have to start getting rid of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So now we have a serious problem I can't solve. Space in the condo, okay, versus Hollis doesn't want to sell any of the originals. we have an issue there I can't solve, not with any fancy marketing techniques or tactics.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it. I got to run.
Yeah, no worries.
That
was fun. Okay, Robert, you're up next. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I got two questions. The first question was, I have a problem knowing how to price my art.
Yep.
Like I've got 4 different formulas that I've.
Yeah, all the formulas, pardon my French, are bullshit. Okay. I don't care about any formulas. It's all nonsense. Whoever came up with it is size times media type times paint times hours, all bullshit. Okay. The only thing that matters is that the work sells. If the work is not selling, there's no magical pricing formula that's going to help you do anything. Okay. Now, the pricing structure that I laid out solves for the conundrum that you have. All right. Because you start saying, okay, here's what I need to have. I need to have 0 to 100 covered. I need 100 to 1,000, and I need 1,000 plus. And so you just start working backwards from that, right? And you take your wholesale costs on these various different sizes, you multiply them by 250%, and then you have the range of pricing. When you have the range of pricing, it solves so many things. And somebody was asking for the chat, does this apply to, you know, the artists and or the photographers too? It applies to absolutely everybody. The range of price is like one of the greatest fixes every single solitary scenario, because when you have the range of pricing, okay, number one, you'll find that you're not going to get lowballed anymore. And even when you do get lowballed, as deflating as that is, right? You're trying to sell an original for $3,000, and they're like, yeah, I'll give you $30 for it. It's like, you son of a, you know, when you have the range, they don't do that as much. They're like, I see. You know, they're not necessarily bad people when they're lowballing you. They just don't have the range of pricing so that they can anchor themselves to how much things actually cost. And so when you have the range of pricing, it solves for a bunch of those things. So in your case, you don't need any fancy formulas, all right? You just hit that range as I articulated and explained it, and the maths just work themselves out. And, you know, as I did that thing with Hollis, you could just follow it directly. I just threw this thing into the chat, by the way, which is, I'll pull it up now, is my advanced pricing strategies for artists and photographers that are already selling. Don't worry about the already selling part. This is the article that breaks the whole thing down. It's a bit of a Bible. Talking about my socioeconomic bell curve, right? But this gives you a framework for what you need to achieve, how you need to achieve it, how you need to break things up, how you need to think about it. So if you just read that and don't overthink anything else, realize the whole thing, Robert, is just a game of maths, then you just work backwards from that and it solves it. It just straight up solves it.
Okay. And the other question that I had was like everything you've been talking about as far as what you guys do, it all sounds like something that I need. But my question is, do you guys offer payment plans?
We do have a financing option. It's through one of those like afterpay things, you know, those like third-party services. And I'm not sure exactly what the details are on it, but you know, if you get those guys on the phone and say, what's the deal with the financing plan? I think they can break it down for like what the payments are and everything else. It's not like a car loan term thing. It's like a, you know, I've never used it, but there's like 3 of them on the internet and they're everywhere, right? Like Klarna, Afterpay, and there's like the one other one. Like, do you want to break this thing up over such and such payments? But yeah, we do have it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Charlie. Great questions, though. I love those because I get them all the time. Yeah, so Sharon, so that should answer your question about, you know, the photographer side. All right, Peter's asking, I have digital stuff on computer programs. Take file to have it to plotter, or no. You don't have to worry about that in the slightest. You know, depending on what it is, if it's a photograph, I might as well unmute you because you're there. If you have the music on, Peter, can you mute your music? So is it a photograph, or are we talking about like vector art? Like, what is it?
Oh, well, I mean, I do stuff on some different computer programs.
Yeah, but those things scale with the gigantic image size then, right? Because it's vector.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least on my my Apple laptop. Yeah. I mean, it kind of gets distorted if I try to. I mean, I have pieces that are, you know, I don't know, as big as the screen. Yeah. But if I do it just on the screen, digitally, it just get the lines. I know
where you're going. Don't worry about it. It's very, very easy to upsize that work. But our system tells you in 2 seconds how big you can go. The way that it works is you upload the piece. Our algorithm studies the image and says you can go all the way up to this size, all the way down to this size. What sizes do you want to do? That's what our system does. And you know, if you do for some rare reason need to upscale the work, there's third-party software that does it. But it's all very, very easy.
Yeah. So vertically and horizontally.
Oh yeah, the whole deal. Yeah, you don't have to go to any plotter or fancy thing. Software solves just about everything these days. It's amazing.
Yeah. Like what would be the range of scaling up?
Well, again, my guess is that what program you said you're doing a bunch of different programs. Usually, in my experience, digital art, just right out of the gates, because the canvas size you're working on is probably usually huge. You know, you're not working on like a 720 by 720 canvas. You're working on like a 2400 by 2400. That will already go as big as the biggest printers can print already. So you're already there. My guess is the majority of the stuff you're already there. Wouldn't even need any upscaling.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, good questions. Who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? And good, Eric. I'm glad you saw that webinar. Super helpful way to go about it. You know, you order the range of styles of samples, and boom, you know, you're cooking with gas. And I'll find that thing while you guys are figuring out if you have any other questions. I'll find my live art show guide. It's really good. Where is it? Guide to live art shows. I can't believe my note taking thing crapped out on me today. I'm so upset about that. All right, is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, so I was telling Peter about, not Peter, I was telling Eric about how to run live art shows, and this is the guide for that, so I'm going to throw this in there too. Boom. It's a good one. All right, can your printing take a 12 by 12 and make it into a larger piece? Yes, Carol. Easy, all day long. You know, that's just really not a limitation in today's digital world in the slightest. You know, it either can go big enough, or you can upscale it, or, you know, in some cases, if it's you're photographing an original, sometimes you have to get them rephotographed, but that's in certain cases. Yeah, Sharon, obviously vector can scale to infinity and beyond. You know, roster is a little bit different, but again, you know, the thing is, like, what are we even talking about here? After you go above a certain size, you're talking about extremely, extremely wealthy people, or you're talking about, you know, businesses or museums, right? Like, most of us don't have space on our wall for a 70 by 85. You know, it's like that size art doesn't ever really sell that well anyway. You know, I had like a really, really good buddy. Oh, it's actually his work is behind me right now. This guy's been a customer forever, and he did an entire show of oversized pieces. And this is a guy that, like, normally he sells out almost 100%. He's got celebrity collectors, the whole deal. Really talented artist from Quebec. This is one of these huge pieces that he did. And he's like, I'm never doing it again because so few people have the freaking wall space. You know, you have to live in like a crazy big house. And this is like a diptych, 2 huge pieces. And I'd have to go and find an image of him standing next to it. But, like, they're big. So point is, don't anybody stress about size. It's usually just not an issue at all. But yeah, God, I'm so bummed my little note-taking app did not work. My little note-taking app literally does all of that awesome thing and was just going to email you automatically, and it somehow crashed. So that's on me. But I'll still send you guys an email after the fact. What else, guys? Questions, comments? What is your turnaround time on orders? Let's say an order 48 if you live in California. Yeah, Eric, so we have, I'll show you guys Eric's question for context. We have 2 printers that people integrate with. One is on the East Coast, one's on the West Coast. The West Coast one's called Bay Photo. And so it's usually super, super quick, the turnaround. But you don't even need to go 48 by 48. I wouldn't even do that. I would go by I would do like 12 by 12. You know, if you're going to do that for your samples, you don't have to go 48 by 48 is way too big to show off in a live art show or the like. But you can receive them very, very quickly, and you can, of course, expedite shipping too. So that's a thing as well. Yeah, so bummed about my note-taking thing. But who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns before we wrapped it up for today? Try to send a digital as a came back file was too large. Email. Yeah, that's emailing an image. Like, you know, email has size constraints. You don't want to do it that way. You upload it. So that's how it goes, Pete. You don't email them. Emailing can compress them as well. So yeah, that's the thing. All right. Sharon's asking, how do you turn a 2D image into a 3D image? Search Google. Super easy to do. Yep, I got you, Andrew. Don't worry. All right, Andrew, you're up next. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Andrew's business partner.
Awesome.
I'm a mother.
Yep.
And he's lucky because I do social media and digital marketing professionally.
What? Mom lottery winner.
Yeah. He's out relaxing while I do this webinar. But anyway, we're launching in 2 weeks. We just signed up Friday.
Welcome aboard.
And I just want to ask you, beyond or in the realm of social media and email marketing, is there any what is the best examples of people who have had great launches? Of what is the magic formula? I mean,
great question. Great question. I love that you asking the pointed ones. Let me just say briefly too. Did you guys get the Copilot? Did you sign up for Copilot or not? I don't know if you did or you didn't.
I don't even think we have our first onboarding tomorrow.
Got it. So you'll find out. But your job in terms of helping him with the social media is to do all the things that we can't. What most people fail to reason, and a lot of times because artists are kind of, antisocial in a certain extent, or don't like being on camera, don't being like on film. Like, the artist is just as important as the artwork. People get bonded. People get bonded to what makes that creative person tick. What makes them interesting? What might I have in common with them? What makes me more bonded to them? So your job as mom/social media manager is to get the type of media for social media that we can't get, i.e. filming him during this process, filming him standing next to his
That's
work.
what he does. And that's what he just told me he doesn't want to do. And
I know. No one does.
He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, you have to force him.
And he's got a great story, and he's handsome and young, and he's got everything on the ball and funny.
I love it.
But
yeah, and the whole world
needs to see that. He doesn't want to do it, but I got to figure out how to get him to do it.
He's got to get over it. He's got to get over it. In my experience, it
comes with. I said to him, "Do you want to make money or not?"
Exactly right. Do you want to have a hobby or do you want to have a business? Okay, because if it's a business, we can teach you, but that's a very, very important part about it, right? Now, to go back to your question in terms of launch, it's going to come down primarily, likely, to how much attention he has already, right? Like, what do you have in terms of the email list? What do you have in terms of social media? We will have an incredible campaign, and we see a total mixed bag, right? Like, oftentimes the artists and photographers are so terrified of ever promoting themselves that no one even knows they have work for sale, right? And so when you do this big announcement, everyone's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you did art. Oh my God, this is incredible," right? And so we usually see some pretty good results. So if he is talented, it sounds like that might be the case. Other than that, you just have to execute on the playbook. It's just one thing. It's the thing that kicks things off, and it's the first step among many we're going to have you taking.
All right. Yeah. We just got to execute by your plan. Well, 100%. One thing I've got is I've got the reach myself through my sites. Amazing. I mean, I can promote him through my social media that I own, not what I do for other people, the stuff that's mine, which are travel and mental health and addiction services and stuff like that. And that I can, and I will tell this to everybody. I've told him to this, because he's got a commission to paint some dogs. He's got 2 different ones. He does abstract. And I've got to get him to focus on it. I think he's a little afraid of it. But anyway, and my travel site, the best response is I'll get sometimes 27. I might do a post and get, 1,000, 2,000 responses, views, whatever. I post dogs, I might get 30,000.
Yeah.
I got to find the right stuff.
Yeah, you got to find the right stuff.
I mean, what I'm saying with that is,
you mom can do Andrew some serious favors here with
that.
Yeah,
what I'm saying to the other people is, like, if you have a dog that's really cute, do a video of yourself with your dog while you're talking about your art or something like that. If you get funny, cute animals,
big deal.
People just love it.
And like, what no one understands too, and I say this all the time, it's like, the artist is just as much an important part of the brand as the art.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, and one of the things I'm constantly teaching my customers to do are these live art shows, right? In person, I showed the guide a little bit earlier. I don't know if there's any videos on it so we can give a taste. Is there on this first page or not? Essentially these folks holding up the art, talking about it, right? And here's my my one buddy. Here's like a snippet of him. He's doing one in his studio. I got to get the Zoom window out of the way, right? And people are asking questions live. Like he had a big dog, right? And even independent of what you're saying, which works, but people like them. Oh, he's got a dog? I'm a dog person. Now I'm even more bonded to this artist. What kind of dog do you have? That's interesting. Right. This is the kind. See there. You see his dog. You see his giant dog on the ground there, and it's like even you see those little things like making a big, tremendous impact. So yes, it's so important. It's like massive important. So I love you for saying it.
Yeah, I agree with. I agree. It's like my background is software before I got in travel.
Yeah,
and pretty travel pictures don't even do as well as animals.
No.
I mean, whether it's a giraffe or a giraffe is better than a beach, believe it or not. You know, even though people will go to a beach more often than they go to see the giraffe. But the thing is, that's just something I've been noticing lately, and I've started picking up a few hundred automatic likes, which are hard to get now. They used to be simple, but now they're harder to get.
Yeah, it helps to do
those funny videos I pick up off of TikTok.
Yeah, but I will say, what you're talking about is attempting to grow a social media following, right? And to grow a social media following with people that only like and comment and share, easy enough to do. Much harder to do for people that actually give a crap about your art, right? Like you can build a tremendous audience on fail compilations, or I was this old when I learned this amazing thing, right? Or the pets or whatever, but they're not necessarily going to be charged at people that want to buy your art. It gets even harder. But I agree with you in terms of like a niche, to the detriment of their carpal tunnel syndrome. I have a number of different artists that like literally cannot stop getting the commissions for the dogs. Like can't stop. Like just one after another, after another, after another, after another. And they hate it, right? Because nobody wants a photo or a painting of a random dog. They want their dog, right? So it's not a business that you can sell a ton of prints, but it can be a fantastically lucrative business. Yeah. But I love that you guys are on board. We need to start convincing him. I will definitely yell at him if I get him in a session.
So the best thing to do to answer my question, I think the message is to get him to do some videos about himself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, or you can film him if he's so shy, right? Like it doesn't take a lot.
I'm going to have to film him.
Yeah. We just need to know that, his public wants to know what makes him tick. It's important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Love that. I feel like with mom helping him with the push and social media savvy, I like his chances. All right, so I see this. Yeah, how to sell your art online. I know Corey Houth. I've worked with him in the past. I don't know Do It Marketing by David Newman. Generally speaking, I am super pro reading books to get better at marketing, period. I am less so on taking the advice from how to sell art and photography online types, because I feel like if you're better off studying a book by like Gary Vaynerchuk, or following him because he's like a social media master and he gets modern marketing better than just about anyone, than a niche specific person. I don't think there's so much nuance in it that you couldn't read the best book on social media out there, but they certainly can't hurt. And I like if I like that you're fired up about it. So that's good. But what else, guys? Questions, comments? Yeah, Andrew Lee's mom's like, focus on 3 channels. Boy, do I know what those 3 channels are. But I don't agree TikTok is one of them. I have not seen an artist or a photographer, and this is like one of the other fun things that I get to do. One, I'm an active marketer and practitioner, right? So I'm doing it every single solitary day. I'm sending emails myself. I'm composing the emails. I know about all the email platforms. I'm composing social media updates. I'm doing live broadcasts. This broadcast is live. I'm writing copy. I'm writing ad copy. I'm creating videos. I do all of that every single solitary day. I'm a practitioner. Number 2, now I have the benefit of 10,000 customers on my platform, okay? Every niche imaginable, every geographic region, every sexual orientation, every media, every different type of media type and mixed media and this and that. And we've been doing this for almost 10 years now. So when you get to see the data, you get to call bullshit on a whole bunch of things that no one else can call bullshit on, okay? What do I mean by that? I can say that you don't need to spend a minute worrying about SEO because a whole lot of art is not sold via SEO, search engine optimization. I can also say that you don't need to waste any time on Pinterest because in my 10 years, I have not seen a single solitary damn artist make a dime off Pinterest. I can say the same about TikTok. Everybody loves telling me about the likes, the comments, the shares, the follower count they're getting. And then you know what I do? That's me. I'm out front your door right now. Get in the car, and I'm going to drive us all to the ATM machine and look for the buttons on the ATM machine that have likes, comments, and shares on it. There is no button on the ATM machine for likes, comments, and shares because they don't represent currency in today's day and age or land, right? The only thing that does is actual art selling, and Instagram is the most important platform. Second is Facebook, and all the rest really fall off very quickly. You need to generate emails and get on Instagram first, Facebook secondarily. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Instagram is a giant visual search engine. What do you guys do? The visual things. Now, granted, it's morphed a little bit along the lines, but those are absolutely the most important. And yeah, and even Andrew's mom, like, you know, no one's making it on YouTube at all. They're just not. And if they are, they have a different business, a different vertical. They're like teaching people how to paint, or they're doing my process stuff, or this or that, right? Like, you know, case in point, I could say again, I could pull up a video that my buddy did here. Okay. It's an incredible video. And I think he's got like 4 million views on it. It went viral. This guy behind me again, Matthew. And I don't think he got a damn sale, not a one from it. So we really have to like rationalize, like, what are the social media sites, the areas that actually have people that have buying intent and that are into art versus like everything else. And like the TikTok one infuriates me more than anything else because everyone's like, oh, I'm doing so great on TikTok. I'm really killing it on TikTok. I'm like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? What sales have you generated? Have you asked anyone that's actually come in and purchased if they saw your work on TikTok or not on TikTok? And they're like, it's like, yeah, exactly. Okay. Don't lie to me, lie to yourself. Okay, so this is actually kind of cool. I like watching this. So he got on this thing 588,000 views. Okay, which is a big deal, right? Super cool video. It's his process, all right, on YouTube, and you know it's beautiful. It's got the cool classical music. It gets into it. It shows the whole thing. I'll put it in the chat so you guys can watch it later because I don't want to spend the whole thing. You know, it's got really good music, and then it just like goes through some process. Like presumably a viral hit, right? But did it generate any sales? I don't think. I'd have to ask him again because I haven't asked him in 6 months. But the last I talked to him about it, it didn't. So it's all relative. But I do like what you're saying, Andrew's mom, on, you know, leveraging the content on the other platforms to get followers on the platforms that do matter. Sorry, I took myself out of frame. But yeah, that's the marketing game. And no, Douglas, do not boost a post ever under any circumstances. Okay. Instead, save up all that money that you are going to spend on boosting posts. Go into the backyard and light it on fire. That way, you'll at least get something for the effort. Okay, a little bit of heat around your hands for a minute. Okay. The 11th commandment is thou shalt not boost posts under any circumstances ever. I get infuriated by it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. All it does is it brings you a bunch of tire kickers. People that, oh, I spent $50 on my Instagram post. I got all these likes and comments and shares. See my aforementioned remark about no likes, comments, shares buttons on the damn ATM machine, right? So do not do that. No boosting posts. Facebook and Instagram as an advertising platform can be fantastic, but you have to know how to use it, and you have to start with warm traffic and then move on to cold traffic. And it's for 99% of artists, it's just 95% of artists, it's not worth it. All right, I'm running out of gas. Any finals? I feel like you guys got me good and fired up today. I enjoyed myself. I love ranting about this stuff. I love ranting about this stuff because as the years go on and I get like more and more and more reps and sets, and I have more and more artists selling on our platform, and I get to see all the data, like I feel like I'm really competent at being able to call bullshit on all this stupid snake oil you guys get sold for like what's going to work and actually help you sell art, right? And it's just nonsense. Most of it is nonsense. There is no shortcut. I'm sorry. I wish there was. You're going to have to learn how to market yourselves and get competent at it. We can help you as much as possible. You don't ever want to come back here, that's fine. But thinking that there's some other magical art theory or magical collector list, or you're going to trip and fall and sell $100,000 a year is bullshit. I'm sorry, it just is. And like the number of people that make it in the gallery model are kind of like the people that you know that play sports versus the number of pro athletes you know. Truth. Fact. Okay? In order, like even an artist that sells 6 figures in a gallery, okay? You sell $100,000 a year in a gallery. Sounds like you've made it, right? You're killing it. 50-50 haircut, okay? Gallery takes 50, you take 50. Crappy payment terms, which usually 30, 60, 90, 120 days until you even see that money. They don't cover your expenses. They don't cover your studio. Okay, $50,000 a year, and you're making $100,000 a year in one particular gallery or in a bunch of different galleries. That is the top 1% of 1%. It is like the very, very tippy top. It's not a viable model. It is just not a viable model for most folks. And so it's like, you know, unless you think you are that quality of an athlete, then you need to start grinding on your own. You need to start building a list. You need to start building a collector list, and you need to do regular and consistent marketing. Or you could do the show and tell circuit. There are some artists that don't do anything online at all. They just go pound the pavement at the show and thayer circuit and build big businesses. But guess what? You got to do that for 7 to 10 years. Okay? So, you know, you have to ask yourself how seriously you're taking your art career. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer over here, you know, but that's just the reality. Like, you know, talk to any successful artist and they will tell you that. It's always how it works. Anyway, and no boosting posts under any circumstances. Yeah, and Sharon, stop. You have 99 problems, and that is not one, okay? You know, how safe is social media from AI theft and other theft, okay? There are AI machines that can generate images that look just like yours, okay? Do not worry about yours getting stolen. That is the 99 problems, and that's not one, right? Like anybody worrying about that or worrying about like the internet stealing your images, it's just not a thing. Now, some images might have been scanned to build various different AI training models, and you'll never figure out whether or not yours was one of them. So focus on the things that are important, and don't you know, worry your head with things that are never going to get you going anywhere. So, yeah, all right. I feel like I'm done ranting. Any finals? Final question. You were holding it back. You're like, yeah, I kind of want to ask it. I'm here. Showed up in this webinar. I came all this way across the digital landscape. So I just asked my question. I would feel complete. It's okay if no. It's okay if no. But I hope I wasn't in any way deflating. Like, it's still awesome what you can do. There's never been a better time to be an artist or a photographer because you have the ability to not be geographically rammed into one little town. You can reach the whole world via the internet. Awesome. Does that make it easy? No, it does not. No, it does not. But, you know, the upside potential is incredible. Certainly compared to how it was in years previous. You know, you can have an international audience with a couple of years of grinding. Okay, I will send you an email. It won't be the fancy AI transcribed because my thing pooped out, which sucks. But I will get it for the next time, and I will make sure I probably have proper notes for you guys. And I appreciate you spending a Monday with me. And I'm sorry about the volume of email that I send you. And Eric, I'm sure we have a deal going at the end of the month. That's usually when they ship them, so you can look out for that. But I hope you guys learned a lot. Andrew Lee's mom, we'll see you on the inside. Look forward to meeting you on a Zoom session. Emily, keep going. Stay consistent. Appreciate all of you guys. Great rest of your days.